Hey ballers, how you doing? This is Greg from Nuclear Paintball Supply. Today I want to show you guys the new Valken VMAX Plus. So a little bit of background on this. A few years ago, Valken came out with a VMAX, and it was a pretty decent loader for the price. It had a little wheel in the neck that would it would, as paint fed, it would spin that wheel and it would cause the motor to run to feed the paint, which was decent. But it had problems with it would hesitate as it because you had to wait for the balls to really start feeding to spin that wheel to make the motor turn on. They claimed it was shooting 30 balls a second, and there's no way it was getting to 30 balls a second. And I found that the lid would pop open pretty easily. So Valken fixed some of those issues with the VMAX Plus, or with the VMAX 2, and then the third iteration, the VMAX Plus, I really think they really hit it out of the park with this one. So to begin, this loader retails for 65 bucks, and a lot of times when you have something at that price point, you're going to say, "Oh yeah, for 65 bucks, it's a great loader." And that is not the case with this. This is a loader that is awesome, and it happens to cost 65 bucks. So this is probably one of the biggest bargains in paintball right now. So to begin, they got rid of that stupid little wheel. They replaced it with laser eyes. So that means it's going to feed as soon as you start pulling the trigger. It's going to feed. They fixed the issue where it sucks the batteries dry. And they also made some changes to the lid. So this lid will not open unless if you gently push it from the back, which is awesome. So when you're playing, how many of you guys are going to grab your lid and lift straight up? But if you bump it on something, or you take a shot or something like that, you want that lid to stay closed. I mean, you don't want your lid popping open. You don't want to get shot and lose all your paint. You don't want to, smack into a tree and have it pop open and lose all your paint. It's very, very secure. But it's still very easy to open. The key to that is right in here. There's this little, like a cylinder mechanism here. It's almost like like what you use to hold your toilet paper on the ring. And you just squeeze that together, and the lid comes off. But it kind of flexes a little bit along with the lid, and that allows it to work. So you can get speed feeds for this. Again, you just pop this thing right off. You just kind of squeeze this thing together, pop a speed feed on there. It's all one unit, so you're not messing around with springs or anything else. You just pop it off, put on what you want, and you're off to the races. It's great. Also, as we expect with any loader for today, we expect it to have toolless disassembly. And Valken does not fail to deliver on that. One little tab in the back, you push it down, it comes apart. This tray pops off just like that, real easy. And then in here, to get the tray out, if you want it, you got some paint in there or dirt, you just flip this little lever and the whole tray comes out. You can disconnect it from the wires so you can clean it or do whatever it is you need to do. Get access to the board if you got to clean it or replace it or whatever happens. So disassembly is a snap. Reassembly is equally a snap. You just kind of line the tabs up. It connects in two spots, and then it just uses pressure to hold it in place. So it works really, really well. The other thing I really liked about the VMAX Plus is it's very simple to operate. It's one button. You push it, you hold it, and it feeds. You push it, and it stops. Feeds. It's got eyes in there, so you stick your finger in there, run some balls through there, and it'll feed or not feed depending on what it sees. Also, the mechanism for feeding the balls, it has these soft fingers, and it's also spring loaded. So what that's going to allow is so you start shooting, you're immediately going to have feeding action. So just like the old Halos and whatnot, as soon as this thing starts, as soon as you start feeding balls, the spring action is going to be force feeding the balls, but then the eyes are going to kick in, and this thing's going to start spinning and really feed them. So no matter what, you just get a phenomenal feeding experience with this. I used this on Saturday at Castle Conquest. I ran this on a Bob Long Onslaught, and I also ran it on my pump gun, on my Inception Ripper Sniper. And I mean, I love this loader. It worked so good. I didn't have any jams all day. I didn't have any deal with paint breaking or anything like that. The lid stayed on, which for me is amazing, because that's like my famous thing to do, is I open the lid and dump paint everywhere. Another thing worth noting is I'm very hard on my loaders. And if you look at this, there's not a scratch on it. And I really beat the tar out of this thing. I bumped into some trees with it. I got hit on a rock. It got shot a couple of times. And it's still pretty clean. I mean, it's definitely a very, very durable shell. It's also not exceedingly heavy. I know it. A lot of the loaders nowadays, you get into the to the rotors and the spires, and they're getting up there. They're getting pretty heavy in weight. This guy clocks in with batteries, okay, at 1 pound, 1 ounce. Well, 1.5 ounce. So you're looking at 17 ounces with the loader, with 2 AA batteries in it. Here we have a Spire 260, complete with 4 AA batteries and a rain lid. This guy clocks in at 1.4 pounds, or 1 pound 4 ounces. Regular Spire, not a 260. That guy clocks in at 1.32 ounces. And the trusty old Viewloader Revolution clocks in at a mere 12 ounces. So, at 17 ounces, this thing is pretty light. And it definitely holds at least 200 rounds of paint. I was able to dump the big Virtue pods into it without any problem. I probably should have paid a little bit more attention to that, but it's definitely 200 rounds plus. So anyway, so we have the Valken VMAX in stock and ready to ship. They're $65 plus whatever shipping is. And we have them ready to go. So if you want one, feel free to hit us up at www.facebook.com/nuclear paintball supply, and we will get these out to you. I mean, for the price, you should have one in your gear bag. And then you're going to fall in love with it too, and you're going to use it a whole lot. So, all right. So hope to hear from you. This is Greg from Nuclear Paintball, and we will talk to you soon. Thanks a lot.